Hi everybody. Today we're going to go and do a recap of Chapter 5, which is purchasing activities. This is kind of the heart of the whole course. It's what a purchasing agent is going to do. And I bet after reading this chapter you didn't realize all the things a purchasing agent had to do. I know I see it here every day. It's almost like people think the food's just going to show up at the back door because the food ferries are going to bring everything in on a truck. But there's a whole lot that goes into these purchasing activities. When you think about, we've got to, first of all, let's get past, we've got the facility, we've got the business planned out, we know what we're going to do. Menu design, menu analysis, all of those types of things, which is an amazing amount of work. Once we're all past that, I mean, the real fun begins. And you got to ask yourself some questions. It's not only about what you're going to buy, it's how you're going to buy it, who are you going to buy it from, when are you going to buy it. All these things have to be figured out. And these are all listed in the purchasing activities. Let's talk a little bit about who you're going to buy from. Normally I would have several different companies come in and talk to you about the whole purchasing thing and why they think they're the best, and of course they all think they're the best. Here we have bought through the years from Banta Foods, Springfield Grocer, our current supplier, Sysco Foods, Benny Keith, U.S. Foods. There's well over a half dozen that come through on any given basis. Why should you buy from one versus the other? They all carry Hunt's tomato ketchup in number 10 cans. One might be a little bit less expensive than the other. Do we use price as our basis? And we've talked about this and other topics prior. I think it's all about the purchasing relationship you have with somebody. You have to be able to trust them. I think you should like the person you buy from. That representative from the company is the one that you're going to have to deal with on a regular basis. They're going to help you when things are bad. They should help you find things. They should be there if there's an issue. It's one of the reasons why we basically threw out Sysco in this operation months ago, because we kept getting bad service, bad product. Well, you sent us something bad, we need it tomorrow, and the response is, well, we can't help you. Well, my response is, you should make sure it comes to us right so we don't have this problem, because if you can't fix it, it's not fair to me. So finding the right supplier is huge. It may take years, and when you find somebody you like, inevitably something happens. We were buying from U.S. Food all last year, and here I kind of went out of my boundaries because I didn't like the rep as well as I maybe had liked other reps, but I liked the company's products a lot. U.S. Food has been bought out, or is being bought out by Sysco. So not only has the rep disappeared, but all the great products I liked were starting to disappear. Another reason we had to find another company. So supplier selection is huge. When we get around to taking senior trips here, we actually take you and show you a couple different purveyors to give you an idea of what to look for. So that's always great. Now, you may not always be able to buy everything you want from one company, and that's where sourcing comes in. And sourcing is basically going out and looking for different purveyors, looking for products that you want. For example, Coca-Cola. Springfield Grocer does sell some Coke products, but by going to Coca-Cola, I get the free use of Coke coolers. So I can save $3,000 and not buy a cooler just by buying my Coke from Coca-Cola themselves. Linens. We buy and we also rent linens. Springfield Grocer doesn't carry linens like that. So I needed to go out and source another market for linens. And there's always little things like that. I might have a specialty purveyor for produce. I might have a specialty purveyor for seafood. But that all goes into the selection of a purveyor and then sourcing. So other things that fall into the purchasing activities: maintain the proper amount of items in inventory. Boy, this is a tough one. Have you ever been to an operation or gone to a restaurant where they said, oh, we ran out of that earlier? Or a lot of times you'll see stuff on special on a regular basis. Why are we always running this on a special? It's because we have too much of it. We're buying too much and we want to move it out. and that's one of the quickest ways to do it. So maintaining an adequate amount of inventory is a huge part of the purchasing job. Imagine going in your favorite restaurant every week and they were always out of that item. Would you keep going back? Most people wouldn't. I'll use an example of a restaurant that was in Melbourne for a while. I went in 4 times to this restaurant, which is usually more than I'll go in when I don't like something. 4 times I asked for the barbecue brisket. First time, nope, we're out. Second time, nope, we're out. Third time, oh, we had it, but we left it out on the counter overnight and we had to throw it away. True story. 4th time, nope, we're out. I quit asking for brisket and I quit going into the restaurant. So maintaining the proper amount is crucial. Conduct negotiations, another activity. Sometimes you've got to really kind of work with these companies to get a better price or to get an item they might not regularly carry. We're going through a situation now where I want a certain kind of wrap to wrap my sandwiches in. The company doesn't have it, so I'm negotiating with them to bring this into stock so they can carry it and I can use it in the cafe. We've had situations where we may use a whole lot of a certain type of product. The last time I had the situation was potato chips. I could go across the street to Sam's Club in Northwest Arkansas and buy potato chips, the ones I wanted, cheaper than I could than getting them from U.S. Food. So I negotiated the price down on those potato chips based on how much I was going to buy. So sometimes you have to do that. Research activities. We're always looking for new products. We're always looking for better deals. The hospitality business should never be stagnant. We're always moving forward. So researching other products, researching other suppliers is always important. Another topic, and this was part of the discussion question, was make or buy analysis. And briefly, a make or buy analysis is, do we make that product here or do we buy it? Now, we're talking about it from a hospitality standpoint, of course, but you won't see a make or buy analysis if you look online, try to find videos or information on it, in the industry all over. Everybody who manufactures something basically has to look at a make or buy analysis. So let's look at the example. I think we posted one up of cake. Do I make that cake here or do I buy a pre-made cake? What goes into a make or buy analysis? Well, we've got to figure the overall cost. Is it cheaper to make it or is it cheaper to buy it? Just because it's cheaper to make it or it's cheaper to buy it should not be the sole determining factor of the make or buy analysis. Can you think of a few of the things that might go into that? I hope you're screaming quality, because is it the same quality if we buy it? It may be a better quality if we buy it than what we might be able to make. But when we just look at price, it usually ends up bad. So we got to look up, is it the right product? Is it the right quality? Think about the time factor. Is it something we can call and we can get tomorrow? We ran out today, I need more tomorrow. Can I get it quick? If I make it, more than likely I can make it and have it tomorrow if I want it. So that's another factor. Branding. We're known for this. Well, if we don't make it, what about the guy down the street? Can the guy down the street or the gal down the street, can they be known for that also? Or if we make something here, it can be our signature product and everybody's going to come here just for that product. Make or buy is really crucial. We try to look at that on a lot of things. Salad dressings. Is it more important to make a salad dressing, or is that one of those areas where you could buy it? Salad dressings are the #1 most purchased item in a restaurant when you look at a make or buy analysis. Very few people make their own salad dressing. But consider the fact that it's incredibly easy to make a salad dressing. It's very easy to upscale that. I was down in San Antonio several years ago and had a really neat salad. It was actually iceberg lettuce, which I don't normally eat, but it also had roasted corn, it had black beans, it had chicharrones, little deep fried bits of pork flesh basically, and skin, and crunchy, kind of like a little tiny pork crunchy. But what made the salad so good was they made a mango ranch dressing. Now this might have been just a regular old ranch dressing with the addition of fresh mango to it, but it was delicious, and it tasted really good with the pork and the beans, and It was a great thing, and it left me with a really nice, lasting impression of this restaurant. So there is no right or wrong answer to the make or buy analysis, but it's definitely something you need to consider. From there, we talk a little bit about convenience foods, and basically those convenience foods are those prepackaged items we just bring in and sell. For example, we're selling convenience food granola bars in the cafe. I have made my own granola bars in the past and served them in different operations. Consistency is a big issue. The humidity affects how they set up. We have to have people put the same ingredients in it, mix them the same way, cut them the same way, versus just buying one and selling it for 50 cents. I have a lot more effort in that than that 50 cents that I'm charging for a pre-made item, and still making a few pennies on it. So these are convenience foods. Are usually more expensive, but convenience comes at a price. So a couple other things in this section that we're going to talk about. One is working with suppliers. We want to maintain good diplomacy. It's always good to be friends with your suppliers, and it's one of your jobs as a purchaser to make sure you stay on good terms. How do you get on bad terms? Don't pay them promptly. And I've been involved with enough independent operations to know that there are employers out there or restaurants out there that do not pay their bills on time. It's crucial. It's a small world out there, and if you don't pay your people on time, they'll quit sending you food. I have been, sadly, in situations in the past where a truck would drive up. They'd say, "We need cash." And that's not a check. We want cash for your truck today. I get on the phone, I call the owner. The owner's on the golf course. I tell the driver, I have no cash for that big order today, and watch my food drive off in the back of the truck. So you've got to pay your bills. Another way you can get in trouble with your supplier is when you're kind of going behind their back. Say I'm buying from supplier A, and I want a better deal, so I go to supplier B and say, "Here's my price list. This is what A's paying me." Some people do that. I think it's kind of unethical to play one against the other. No supplier wants to work with you if you do that. Another way to upset your supplier: samples. I ask for very few samples. Sometimes I just want to know what a product is. I really want to compare it against another. If you remember, you're going to be doing a can cutting in this class near the end, which is a comparison of one product versus another product. Some people will ask for samples on a regular basis. They take them home, they eat them. They'll ask for steak samples, chicken samples, and they have no intention of ever putting them in their lineup. Purveyors know this. They hate that. It's just wasted food for them, and it causes product costs to go up. Because if they're sampling a bunch of things, someone's got to pay for that down the line. So we need to remember that. Educating suppliers. There's probably not a week that goes by that I don't try to teach my suppliers something so they will be easier to work with. Not everybody has the same level of knowledge as everyone else. Some suppliers are very knowledgeable, some are not. We've got a company out there now that is hiring brand new sales reps who have never been in the food business before. I think that's very difficult to work with when you have a person who does not understand your job, but yet they're trying to sell you product that is crucial for your job. So sometimes we have to educate our suppliers on what is best for us, how to work with us, how to meet our needs, and how to make us happy. Personally, I think that goes beyond my job as a buyer. Don't send me somebody who's not going to either save me money, save me time, or make me more money. So, purchase, receive, store, and issue products. Another big function of the purchasing manager. These should be the cornerstones of your purchasing manual when we look at policies, your other big project. How do we store it? How do we receive it? How do we issue it? We might have central stores where all the product goes into one place and we ship it out from that one central. This should probably be the heart of the purchasing manual that you're going to do, explaining how we purchase. How do we get rid of too much of something? Can we just donate it? Can we recycle it? I'm a firm believer that there is a way to use everything in the kitchen, and so I look for purchasing to help come up with solutions to handle those things. Record keeping and cost control is another activity of purchasing. One of the first forms we put together for the cafe was a forecasting sheet. And that forecasting sheet tells me how much I'm selling of each item every day. That way we can use that forecasting sheet over time to tell us the proper amounts that we should be planning for. When we know the proper amounts we're supposed to plan for, we know the proper amounts to purchase. And that means we won't have a whole lot of stock left over, and we won't also be running out of stock. So keeping track of those things are all very important. Also, the purchasing manager should be keeping track of when we run out of food, or we don't get an item in that we ordered, stock outs, or when shipments are late from trucks, and you're going to get a lot of this in Chapter 7. But there's a lot they have to keep record of. There's a whole lot that goes into making the purchasing department work properly, and thus the front of the house and the back of the house working properly, and the whole operation be successful. And a lot of that has to do with keeping good records and knowing what is going on. So, other purchasing objectives that are important: maintain adequate supply. We've talked about minimize investment. In other words, we want to spend as little money as possible to get the right amount of inventory and get the job done. If you buy, say, 8 cases of ketchup, but you know you're only going to use 1 case of ketchup a month, how much money is that other ketchup costing you? It's sitting on the shelf, it's taking up space, it's money you've spent, and you're not getting anything in return. So maximizing the amount of investment you get for the smallest amount of money is really important. I worked with a restaurant once that had duck on their menu, but they only had it on the menu for lunch. They only had it in 1 appetizer. So basically they were buying in all this duck, spending all this money for a product they used for 1 small tiny little segment. They were not doing a good job of minimizing their investment. Duck's an expensive product. So they're paying a lot of money for something that just sat there and wasn't making them any money. Maintaining quality is also crucial for the purchaser to do. Things have been tough for the hospitality business as of late. Costs have been going through the roof. People haven't been eating out as much. And what I see a lot of restaurants do is they start cutting their quality. Everyone's afraid to raise price. So what they do, instead of getting real cheese, pizza places will use a cheese product. Instead of using their top-of-the-line burger, they start buying a less expensive burger. And they take their quality and they start dropping it down. That may save them money, but it also loses customers. So I think it's important for purchasing to find a way to maintain quality. People understand prices have to go up. So you explain in a proper way. We want to give you the same quality you're used to. We think it's important that you get what you're paying for. We may have to raise prices a little bit, but I think it's crucial that we maintain quality, and that's really important for the purchasing manager to do. Along with that is obtain the lowest price while maintaining quality. Obviously, if you can get product A for $10 a pound, or you can buy product A for $8 a pound, and it is product A the same for each company, you want to buy it the least. But you definitely have to make sure. This is one of those comparing apples with apples is so crucial, because people say, oh, it's just like the other. Well, we cut that against, we cut that mayonnaise against Hellmann's, and everyone likes it better than Hellmann's. Well, don't take anybody's word for it. Make sure you are comparing the same products before you start looking at that price. Those are basically some of the important parts of the job. Well, we then go into how people are evaluated on that, and in the next chapter. This chapter starts to go into that, but we'll talk about that more next week. So start thinking about that purchasing manual. There is some information online, a little rubric on how to put it together. Please ask questions. Do not wait till the last week to start that purchasing manual, because it's going to take you weeks and weeks to do. Also start thinking about your can cutting comparison. There's some information online about that. You can kind of see what we're expecting. Basically, you're going to take 3 products. You're going to do a visual comparison, taste. It's all in there. We'll talk more about it and post that. But these things are going to come up quick. Also, we'll have a midterm, if you can believe it, in about another 3 or so weeks. 8 weeks comes really quick. The midterm is going to be about 100 multiple choice questions. It'll be online. It'll be graded for you online, so you'll know exactly where you're at. I will tell you, if I don't forget, that test is written through chapters 1 through 10. So questions are taken 1 through 10. We'll try to do a recap here in a couple weeks as we get close. So, ask questions, do your discussion question. Let's get involved, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.